The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And as always, whether you're in Baku, Kalamazoo, Kathmandu, or even Timbuktu, we love to come to you every trading day at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we've got kind of the same thing that I talked about yesterday, except the higher lows and higher highs. Lower highs and higher lows. We've got a little bit of everything out there. In the past, I've seen markets like this with the conditions, i.e. light volume moves higher, and then you get some kind of news that actually either pulls the rug out or drives the market higher enough to roll out any shorts and then reverse. And I've seen it go both ways. So I'm kind of, as I said yesterday, if I was trading, it would certainly be intraday. I wouldn't have anything overnight. Conditions have been just like this and seen 100-point moves higher percentage-wise, like say in the S&P, 100 points higher and then go 200 points lower within 24 hours. I've also seen them go 100 points lower and then 200 points higher in 2 days. That is a lot of different dichotomies in the underlying data. That is, I'm thinking probably more lower. And my thoughts are that there's been a lot of talk about a stimulus package that's going to come out. I haven't been watching the news today. I tend to watch it after the bell and not during, try to react without a lot of bias in it. But I think that one, if they get one, everybody's going to be disappointed, or two, nothing happens. And they're very disappointed. And I think after the disappointment, everybody's going to wake up and go, well, maybe that's not as bad as we thought it should be. So I would much rather be in the seat of waiting and reacting instead of trying to predict what a handful of people can do. I'm pretty good at looking at an entire market. I'm pretty bad at figuring out what 4 or 5 people in Washington, D.C. will decide, because what is that? 5 maybe? Kind of really deciding what's going on for the most part. There may be one other out there that flips sides or something like that in the Senate, but as far as I can tell, everybody's holding party lines. So is the question going to be, do we get some kind of surprise? My guess, like I said, is it's either what they've been calling a skinny bill, or everybody just decides to walk 20 paces in each direction and start firing away. I think there's probably about a 50% chance of each one, either a skinny bill or them just going at it full a la food fight from, what is the name of that movie? Food Fight, Animal House. And, of course, in a political season, not too far from the possibility. So maybe cooler heads prevail. I just dislike the fact that we've had 2 up days with extremely light volume compared to the moves and the gaps higher. Like I said, could we get one tomorrow? Yes, I would probably, if we had light volume, would probably start thinking bearish. If we pulled down 100 points down with a lighter volume, I'd probably think about going long. But at the moment, kind of a coin flip. I said in my newsletter this morning I paid a very high price for one thing, and that was trying to tell the difference between prudent speculation and gambling. Early on, I gambled and lost and won, but being more consistent is knowing when I have an actual edge. I believe I've got zero edge right now because it's all going to be on that one line that comes out from the press that says, yes, we've all come together. We're singing Kumbaya down on the Capitol steps. There used to be a good group called the Capitol Steps. I don't know if they exist anymore, but they sang funny things. I bet they don't exist anymore. Nothing's much funny. There isn't a lot of fun happening in Washington, D.C. So my thoughts are right now, 10% you get some kind, or maybe 20% you get some kind of big, huge, $2 trillion plus deal. My guess is you get something much smaller or nothing at all. And, of course, being the political season, people would rather, instead of you giving them a nice little lump of gold, would rather have you give them a big rock so they can throw it at their adversaries. So I'm jaded, I know, and probably doing what's right is probably the last thing on the list for just about everybody, which makes me, I don't know, I wouldn't say cynical. I'm always skeptical. I try to be skeptical. And we'll move on. But that's kind of it. Not a lot of volume. Again, today the volume's been rather poor. We've been doing something around the high $8 billion mark, or high $8 billion share days. We're only doing about 5.3 billion shares as we start the show. If you're new to the show, I use the CBOE consolidated tape. If you want that link, email me at path@tfnn.com. Or if you're just interested in anything in general, give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can always put a message in the den. And, of course, email me at path@tfnn.com. That's when you say nothing at all. Okay. That's a pledge pen. But anyway, the best part of the movie, got to ask, I think it's when they all say, did the Germans quit in World War II? We're not either. It was something like that by Bluto. We'll try to find it. But anyway, food fight is kind of what I'm thinking. What else? One of the better indicators I look at, of course, is the summation index. And that is kind of a smooth version of the McClellan oscillator. And those have just been slowly headed down. We got a little bump out of these last couple of days. But again, that volume disturbs me. I think, like I said, we could run 100 points higher. I'd probably pull the short string. We could go 100 points lower or 200 points lower. I'd probably decide to go long. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And as always, what do we like to do here? We like to do a little bit of history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is on this day in 2008, after Congress failed to pass a $700 billion bank bailout plan, Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 770 points. At the time, the largest single-day loss in history. Down 7%, a greater loss than the skid on September 17, 2001, first trading day past post-11. The S&P also suffered its biggest one-day loss since the 87 crash, dropping 8.8%. The NASDAQ fell 9.1%. It's the single biggest day point loss in 8 years. And why these things can move, and, of course, why you pulled back on one. You had a pretty decent, couple of months later, you were back making new highs on some of these things. But it's never good to take a market and build up the hopes greater than what the government is willing to produce. But that's one of things. Got a question here. See what this is. Just debate stuff tonight, and I have no idea. One of the things I try to stay out of, like I said earlier in the show, is does it make you happy or does it make you money? Is it something that if you put your efforts to it, will it produce some kind of viable result? And generally, when I go after figuring out what a judge will do in some important case on patents, whether a politician's going to do this or that, it seems like it's like flipping a coin. Now, when I get 10 million people trading Apple, at some point, it looks fairly clear from the charts what those folks are going to do. I don't know what all the other folk are going to do. But one thing you can depend on, of course, is that the press will get some kind of notion, some kind of idea. And in fact, I got this the other day because I thought I'd bring it up. But, you never know what the press is going to get focused on. Maybe I can actually find it here because I know I did it the other day. Maybe it's, I think it's in history. But it was one of the biggest effects that I'd ever heard. Yeah, there it is. Now, this thing made me, this audio clip made me believe that literally nobody in the media had a brain cell that they weren't sharing with somebody else. This is a montage of the press, the media, and I think this goes back to 2004, if I'm not mistaken. But remember, these were all in 24 hours, and a word that you'd never probably heard in 20 years before. But actually, this question kind of made me think about the debate effect or the echo effect, but it's pretty interesting.
This lack of gravitas. We see the son who is seeking some gravitas.
They were looking at candidates with gravitas.
But he has the gravitas.
It may go to the gravitas.
Or to use the favorite phrase, gravitas.
Broad gravitas. This will give some gravitas, add some credibility.
I think the gravitas, the ticket.
What he gets is gravitas, a sense of weight.
He does not need anybody to give him gravitas.
It means that, gravitas.
I think he also needs some gravitas.
To give gravitas.
Well, he brings gravitas.
He does seem to bring some gravitas.
It's called gravitas.
A little gravitas.
You certainly have gravitas tonight.
He displayed tonight a certain gravitas.
I think gravitas is the word. Unfortunately for the...
So my point being here is that whatever we see tonight probably won't have a lot of thought or discussion behind it. It hasn't changed much. I'm pretty quick on the pickup when there's an agenda and propaganda going on. It doesn't mean that the people behind it don't have a legitimate point. But generally, I have a big whiff for propaganda, whether it's in the market or politically. Lately, there's been some great montages of a grim milestone. Maybe you folks have heard that. I just tend to turn that off. The same thing with CNBC. When you hear everybody telling you the same thing, just know that the reality is probably something far different. And doesn't matter which party, who's on CNBC. Everybody's, political or financial. Everybody's always talking their own book. And you're probably not going to make any great decision by listening to those folks. Doesn't mean they're wrong, but it just means that you're probably not using a lot of intellectual effort to get to the root of any problem or discussion or argument. And there's probably, I don't know, I think I found 20 or 40 of these montages of when there's nothing but an incredible echo chamber. And like I said, doesn't mean anybody's wrong. Does mean that they're not thinking at all for themselves, though. So anyway, as we go in through the next few days, break the rules. Think for yourself. Maybe not listen to all the talking heads. I think we're probably better off having everybody make their own individual decisions than to listen to somebody on TV, a talking head, tell us what we need to believe and what people said. Maybe we could just listen to the people and see what they actually said. Maybe we don't have to have an intermedia telling us exactly what they thought and what they said. Yeah, you can turn the TV on and actually watch what they said. Amazing. Anyway, as I said, I'm not looking at much movement today, but the markets actually are fairly set up for the ability for them to move quite dramatically, both up and down. And I'm not going to say the odds are overwhelming, but generally when I've gotten this kind of stuff, my model, says something around 50% of the time you get these kind of big swings, and generally the first swing is the one that will either set a high or a low, wash everybody out, and then you get the other side of that move. So we'll see whether or not the coin flips in our direction. My thought, though, is that I don't want to be on the wrong side of that, so I can catch the next side, which should be the right side of that. Anyway, on this day in 2008, huge down day. And, of course, as I said earlier, I think we get into a food fight, at least on the stimulus.
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we'll go back by, just because of all the news on IBM, I've been watching it lately. You got pretty much what you were looking for. Again, yesterday we had 1.8 million shares. Today, 1.1 million shares. This goes back into a 3.3 million share down day back on the 21st. So, again, we've gotten kind of the easy bounce out here. Maybe there's some more news. You've had a nice you got two gaps here. But, man, could you fool around and get one? I'm looking at the IBB. I wanted to look at BA. I don't know why I typed that in there. You've got your gap higher, sideways today, but 38 million shares. It was called 39 million shares yesterday on the move higher, 15 today. It's kind of like the entire market. Occasionally you get these nice moves, and then they just fizzle. I think you probably made the big money as it came back in to the trading range of 153.41. As I said before, though, I suspect that what we have now is a long consolidation setting up as we go back to some level of normality. I think a lot of people are thinking that this is going to take years. My guess is that it's going to take less than a year to put everything in the rearview mirror behind us. But I'm not a pessimist. But I know a lot of people that are, and they just don't play them on TV. They are pessimists for sure. It'll all work out. That's kind of my thoughts. Quick look at some of the big leaders. Apple did kind of bounce off this 103.10 level, came back and retested it on more volume than I probably would have thought, but lighter volume. The September 21st low, 103.10 on just under 200 million shares. You got back into it with 167 million shares. 2 days up and then 2 dojis sideways. Again, if you're just looking at straight retracements on Apple, the one thing that I liked, as we talked about, was this confluence level. We talked about getting Tom's book. If you haven't gotten it, he outlines confluence levels. You can also, in fact, Larry Pesavento was talking about a guest that we had on TFNN many times, and that's Joe DiNapoli. In fact, Larry said he was going to talk to him on the phone tonight because he's over here, probably down in Naples, which he has a home down there. Anyway, last time I spoke to Joe, he was spitting nails at me because I designed this thing that we're looking at right now, which is the art of the charts, to automatically set up retracement levels. This is what, 2008? 2007, 2008. And I showed it to him, and man, was he spitting nails, because I think he wanted to think about it himself. But one of the things I set up that really didn't exist at the time was these automatic confluence levels over time. In this 105.48 to 107.70, you got and pierced it, but each time you kind of closed back above that confluence level. Those confluence levels, especially if they're over time, do extremely well, and the close back in it. Now, all we've done so far, though, on the bigger scale, is gone up to 116.42, which is a 382, and we haven't quite even gotten there. The 382 of the retracement down off the high of 137.98 down to the low of 103.10. And I got to say that we did get back into that gap up from the 31st of July that went higher on 374 million shares with almost half 196. I'm not thinking that the end of the world is coming to Apple. You could get a retest of the 103, 104 area. But at the moment, everything looks like it's just going sideways. That's not good. Somebody says that they talked to Joe DiNapoli and he's not doing well. But certainly I can understand, if that's where he was, why he might have some kind of strange disease. The interesting part out here, I did talk to him, and I think he was just moving there at the time. Anyway, couple of patterns I really like. I like the idea of the confluence levels, which he came up with, and the 3x3 double repo pattern, especially in commodities and gold. You don't get it a lot, but do like it. We bring that up sometimes from the show. But, you on these confluence levels, you're going to hit them. I'm going to say 80% of the time, you will find decent support at that level. You will get a bounce. Now, if they come back and hit them again, it's not uncommon to either see support right there or the thing just really gives it up. Generally, if that fails, you want to, I'm not a big fan of chasing stuff, but you want to chase it back down because that is a fairly good sign that when you break the best support that you can find in the market, that the downside is going to be much bigger than you would think. Questions about all these FANG stocks coming in, again, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can also call me at 877-927-6648. And again, kind of sideways action here today. A lot of headlines coming out, so we'll see. But, you know, we're, down 5 points on the S&P cash, Dow down 46.47, NASDAQ up 7 points, Russell down 5. Kind of a rounding error so far. Microsoft, let's get a look at this. Anything in the way of a big bounce off this recent 196.25 low? Well, you've kind of come up here. You're down today on lighter volume of about 15.3 million shares to the 32 yesterday. Again, I think a lot of these bigger stocks are kind of indicating a lot more sideways action than maybe higher right now. So you might want to keep an eye on it. Okay. Now, tomorrow night, we've got Micron after the bell for earnings. I think they're probably going to do fine. A lot of the stuff we talked about yesterday with the Chinese and the U.S. government not liking the fact that their Chinese chips sometimes have been used to create hardware backdoors that cannot be softwared out or just fixed with a software upgrade. Micron up a little bit today. Again, not a lot of volume. My guess is maybe you get to 52 tomorrow before the earnings call. Earnings probably going to be okay. I have a feeling that a great deal of what's happening, though, is going to be much more about markets and what that market looks like on Wednesday when we open up than what they say. When we get back, we'll look at the SMHs in that and look forward to your call or your emails, which are rapidly coming to me.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we had a question on Microsoft. Where do they manufacture the products? Used to be in Wisconsin till, I don't know, 2014, 2015. They started selling a lot of those Surface tablets and Surface PCs. And they moved it to China in the last year. Like Apple, about half that manufacturing has been moved to India. That is thought to be a lot more friendly and less likely to steal our technology. And Microsoft's too. So I don't know what the exact mix is now, but I know that all the flagship phones from Apple, I think 80% of them are made in India now. So whatever this next new iPhone is going to be made in India. I think about 80% of them. And Foxconn, the company that actually builds them for that is based in China, is moved most of its manufacturing there. They've moved some into Mexico and some of the nation states south of the border. But a lot of manufacturing, or at least assembly, has moved out of China in the last year to Vietnam, Taiwan. A lot of those other areas have picked up a lot of the slack that China has given up, as many people have started moving out. And of course, a great deal more have moved manufacturing out since what they did in Hong Kong. So just kind of a continuation of what's going on. When we look at the SMHs, 15th, 16th, we had previous highs, about 2 million shares. You got about 2.4 million shares already, but it's not the kind of blowout. And actually, we're running headlong into the down candle of the third in the SMHs at 6.9 million shares. So, again, pretty tough resistance. It's not uncommon, like I said, with the way that the market's set up, the price and volumes, that you go run one of these candles out and do an instant reversal on volume. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that, or in fact the entire market do something like that, and then give it all up in a day, and or come back and test a previous low and then come right back. Like I said, it happens about half the time in the conditions we have, which is low volume, a slightly lower trending summation index, and options way below what is currently showing for prices on it. That's why I'm thinking if I had to go and put a position on today, it would probably be short. But generally what I like to see is a huge spike, gives it all up in a day, and then chase it down the other side. But just too many stocks out here that were making lower highs and higher lows. We're not kind of going through them. We're not getting a lot of juice today. My guess is we will have a sharp move in the market, and the idea would be to take the other side of that trade once it gets to some kind of decent level. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. What else do we have here? Okay. We'll continue on with the SMHs and look. Applied Material coming back into this huge gap down. That goes back to the 8th of September. We're down on 21 million shares. Yesterday up on 8.6 million shares. Today 3.6 or 7. So yeah, we're pretty much hitting kind of a wall on a lot of these stocks. Now, again, I think a lot of people are front running some kind of stimulus bill. I think that they'll probably see kind of a short-term bounce if we get one, and of course a huge move lower if we don't. Okay. And the question is, which chip company did they go after? It was SMIC, which is China's big chip-making company, and of course really cutting them out of being able to import their chips. But again, they're the same company that made the chips, and I actually may have assembled the motherboards that had those chips on it that made a hardware backdoor unreversible a couple of years ago. Okay, I'm just looking through the news here, see if there's anything else going on. Question about TikTok. Do I see anything changing? I think I answered that yesterday, but they still have to the 14th. Law is pretty good on this, and that is that the president does have the authority to say things are a issue of national security. So they can add the 14 days to it in the courts, but my guess at the end of that time, they still have to let TikTok go the way of the dodo. Okay, fake book test before a pullback. I don't know. You're up a little bit. The problem with Facebook, Twitter, and what else? Facebook, Twitter, and Google is that I think it's the 3rd of October. I think it's the 3rd. They all go in front of Congress, and these guys have they've gone from bad to worse. One of the channels I follow on YouTube got banned because they said Chuck Yeager's last name, and I don't know what's bad about that. There's a lot of discussion for these companies using non-English speakers to look at channels of English content. And these guys, if they don't know the word, they just assume it's bad. But it's caused a lot of problems. There is a good legal theory that's working its way in that means that at least in some states, there may be very good court cases for people coming out and after companies like Google and Facebook, and for standing the way between them and their customers, especially now with things like Patreon, where people support content through actual paying of money. I won't get deep into the weeds in it, but that court case against Patreon, well, including Patreon, has gotten a green light. So we might see some more on here, but the ability to kind of be willy-nilly about what they do is probably coming to an end. And my guess is that we're going to see all these guys have been subpoenaed, by the way. They're not going to be able to go hide out in Africa like they did before. But I think it's on the 3rd. We'll be back in a minute.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Denver, how you doing today, Scott?
Well, I'm doing fine, David. How are you?
Another day in paradise.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I was curious. You brought up Boeing. I think it was just yesterday or the day before. Must have been yesterday. And so what do you think of the slight pullback today on lighter volume? Because at one time you were thinking maybe you'd pull the trigger on it, and I was just curious. Okay, we're a day later now. What do you think?
Yeah, I was saying on the long term, but maybe you missed it early. What I suspect now, generally what happens after these huge blow-ups is that you'll get some decent action like you've had over the last few months. Then you get, some very light volume tests, and then you're going to go sideways for a while. And that sideways is generally the accumulation. You want to see that from the big guys saying they think the company's coming back, but it'll go quiet. And generally after about 7, maybe 14 days, you see it go sideways like that. That's probably where you want to be pulling the trigger. But I think you're kind of ahead of that now. You want it to get real quiet. You want everybody that's been chasing this thing and been going short and long it to kind of quiet and go away and find something else to look at. And then if this thing's going to go a lot higher, like I think it's going to, you're going to see the big guys actually accumulate the shares back in this area. So, does this take a few months to maybe even making this the best performer of a large cap next year. Yeah, but that means you might even have to wait until January 1st to buy it. So
Okay.
I'm not expecting this thing to turn over in a day. This is kind of a real long call on it. But you want to start seeing things like this go sideways now. Right?
And at what level? Right between 165, 175, roughly?
Yeah, maybe as high as 180. It'll probably play around here for a while. This question is, what kind of long term do you have on it? Sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.